So what is the difference? What is the difference between having set header to true versus set header to false? Well, sorry, if you don't set anything, the default is header equal to true. So what is the difference between keeping the default and setting header equal to false? So the first row, if you read the file, you'll see that I only have 59 lines instead of 60 lines. And the first line actually becomes the first line actually becomes the column header. And because the first line is numeric, it just append an X value onto the first line, onto each of the entry within the first line. So now that you have loaded the data in, can we do anything with the data? We really can't do anything with the data. We can see the data. That's about the only thing that we can do, work with the data. But we can't do anything with that. So this is like preaching to the choir. But basically, when you load the data in, you need to assign the data to a variable in order to manipulate the data. Basically, a representation of the data. And within R, in order to assign a variable, we use this. So this is lesser sign and then a dash. This is the syntax within R to represent the assigning of a value to a variable. So let's say I will do weight equal to 55. After I've typed that, you would see within the environment, you actually see this variable pop up. We have the variable of weight. And the nice thing about RStudio is that as they start improving, I think this is something new that I have not seen before. If you put your mouse over the variable, you can see that the type of this variable is numeric. It can support up to 48 bytes. And the value is 55. As you have the variable, you can start mentioning the variable and see what the value it is. And you can also do calculation with the variable. So 2.2 times the variable weight in kilogram, that gives me 121. The variable here is basically a name, and we can change the value within this variable by simply changing the value that you have assigned to the variable. Within RStudio, when you want to re-execute a command in the past, you can just use the up and down arrow. It will let you scroll through the history of command that you have typed. So in this case, I want to assign a new value. So you can see on the top right window, the value for the weight kilogram also changed. So with that, let's go ahead and assign a data set to a variable to our data set. So again, we are executing the read.csv command, but now we are assigning the outcome of this command to a variable called dat. This time, you no longer see the content of the file being displayed on the screen. Instead, you can see that you have a new data set called that. It has 60 observations. Each observation has 40 variables. So you can see from the outset that the language used within R is very specific to statistics. If you click on the DAT, you can see all of the information about the data within there. So this is variable 1, variable 2, variable 7, going all the way up until variable 40. If you click on this box on the right side, you click on this shows you the variable, the observation for each variable. This is basically more a row-oriented view of the data set. If you click on this box on RStudio, it's basically bringing up the data in the tabular format, with each column representing one variable. And the total number of rows for this should be 60. So you can see 60 entries. Let's close that. Let's minimize that. If you ever want to look at this data set, but maybe only a subset of that, you can either look at it through the view, or let's say if you were using console, you were working with Palmetto and you don't have access to RStudio, you can just type head, that, and type enter. So for this, it shows you the first 6 elements of this variable.